I'm joined here today on Primetime Local News by Christopher Hill. He is the Assistant Fire Chief with the Lloydminster Fire Department. So thanks for coming here today, Christopher.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And we're talking today about Fire Prevention Week that's coming up next week. Emphasis this year on cooking safety. So let's just start talking about that. Can you kind of talk to me about maybe some tips that people should keep in mind for when they're cooking to make sure that they're avoiding possible fires, and also just talk about how big of an issue this is? Yeah,
for sure. So we've had 42 reported structure fires this year. Out of those, 25% were caused by cooking, and 27% of our annual call volume right now is actually cooking-related incidents. So we just want to urge people to take caution and precautions when they're in the kitchen and when they're cooking. The number one cause for cooking-related incidents is unattended cooking. So we just want people to keep an eye on their food all the time. Have working smoke alarms in their homes is really important. Making sure they're checking those batteries twice a year. Having a kid-free zone around all your cooking appliances is really important. No toys, no kids in that area is a good idea. And then if you do encounter a small fire, making sure you have a lid nearby to smother that fire, and do not add water to a grease fire because you can actually make it a lot worse and possibly burn yourself as well. So we want to remind people to call 911 if they're ever unsure if they've had a small fire or their smoke alarm is making a weird noise. Just call 911. We have crews that are always available to serve the community.
And that's a big message from the department is, if you're concerned about something, it's better to ask than to not, and then something bad comes out of it, right? Don't be embarrassed to ask for help if you need it. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, we always like to say it's better safe than sorry, right? So even if you're just unsure, just give us a call and we'll have somebody come check it out. Yeah.
That's good. And so preventing, so obviously we were kind of going over some ways to prevent it, but when it comes to fire safety in other parts of the house, do you have any other tips that people should keep in mind?
Yeah, for sure. So always have 2 ways out of every room is really important. Part of the fire safety with Fire Prevention Week we like to hit home as well is fire escape planning. So if there is a fire or an emergency in your home, just knowing how to get out for every room, having 2 ways out, practicing your home escape plan as well with your family. So if you have young kids, making sure that you have that meeting place. Everybody knows where that meeting place is. That's where you would call 911 from. And then just making sure that everyone is on the same page and you guys practice that home fire escape plan together.
Now heading into Fire Prevention Week, there's some events and kind of community engagement, maybe sessions that the department's having here in the community. So do you want to go over some of those? I know that there's a couple with the Bobcats games coming up, right?
Yeah, so we have the Bobcats game tonight, and tomorrow we'll be setting up a fire prevention table from 6 p.m. to around 9:30 p.m. And we'll be handing out all kinds of goodies for kids. We got coloring books and fire hats and stickers and magnets. As well as pamphlets for the parents to look at so they can know how to stay fire safe in the house. As well as we have the farmers market from 12 to 5 at the Service Sports Center tomorrow. Before the Bobcats game, we'll be again setting up a prevention table there, just letting people know about Fire Prevention Week. And we're also going to be promoting the open house.
Yeah, so let's talk a little more about that open house taking place on Thursday. What are kind of the hours and which fire station is it happening?
Yeah, so it'll be Fire Station 2, so that's the one by Lakeland College, 3:30 to 7:30. We're going to have all kinds of fun events there, so we're going to have refreshments and goodies while supplies last, a fire prevention table, fire station tours, fire truck tours. We'll set up the aerial truck so people can see the ladder. And then we're going to have a target set up for kids. They can use the fire hose and hit targets. And we're going to do some live fire demos. So we're actually going to show people what it looks like when you have a grease fire and you add water. So we're going to actually show how volatile the situation can be if you do add water. So we'll probably be running that about every hour on the hour from 3:30 to 7:30.
That's really cool. I think that's obviously it's something you don't want to ever have to see, but being able to kind of see that and understand the risks, I think, is probably important for people.
Yeah, for sure. They get to see it firsthand as well, so they'll know the effects of a grease fire, and then hopefully that can kind of stick with them, and they'll know what to do.
So how important is it for the department to be able to kind of have these sessions to engage with the community? Obviously, it's got to be nice for the kids and fun for them to be able to interact with, firefighters and fire trucks and stuff like that, but just the community in general too. It's probably important to be able to build that connection with the community.
Yeah, for sure. My part of my role in fire prevention and fire education is just community engagement, getting out there with all the businesses and all the residents, addressing people's concerns, any questions they may have, and building fire prevention programs with all the schools. So next week I'll be very busy in all the different schools, and it's awesome to see the kids year after year learn and retain the information for fire safety. And then when you come back the next year and they're a grade older, they remember and retain so much of the information from the year before. And it's so nice to see like an effective fire prevention program in place. And then you send some stuff home with the parents. They look over the pamphlets, and you're getting them to check their smoke alarms, ensuring they're safe around the house with fire escape planning and cooking fire safety. So yeah, it's just great community engagement all around, and doing things like this to just help remind people of the events and where we're out and about in the community. And yeah, just it's great.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Thank you so much, Christopher, for coming in today. Is there anything else that you want to get out there for people to know about when it comes to fire prevention?
We really want to punch home the number one thing is people call the fire hall phone all the time, but like if you're unsure, just call 911. Like if your smoke alarm's making a weird noise or you had a little fire and you're still just unsure, just call. We have crews available 24/7.
Well, thank you so much for coming in today. It was great to meet you and be able to have you share some of the tips you have, and hopefully the community can catch you and some other people with the fire department throughout the weekend and into next week when we talk fire prevention further.
Perfect. Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you.